Greetings, adventurers. This is a recap of episode 1 of my Monster Mash stream that I do over on Twitch, where I turn a lower level creature into a boss encounter for a low level party with the help of my community. These streams happen every week on Friday at 7 p.m. Central US time, or GMT-6. This series is taking inspiration from a few things I've found on YouTube over the years. Zebashu's channel, Making Enemies in 5e Witchery, Matthew Colville's Action-Oriented Monsters, and Ghostfire Gaming's Making D&D Monsters Formidable. All of these, I've taken little bits and pieces that I've really liked, and have added into trying to use as inspiration for this series. Our ghost is a medium undead, unaligned, armor class 11, initiative +1, hit points 80, which, if you look at a normal ghost, is just the maxed out hit die option for hit points. Speed is the same as a normal ghost, speed of 5 feet, 40 feet flying, and with hovering. The stats are the same. Resistances, acid, cold, fire, and thunder. Lightning has been changed. Immunities, bludgeoning, necrotic, piercing, poisoning, slashing, charmed, exhaustion, frightened, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, and restrained. We have added a vulnerability to radiant damage. Senses remain the same, with passive perception 11. Languages is common plus one other language, a language that the ghost knew in life. And its challenge rating has stated 4. Traits. Bloodied. While the ghost is at or below 40 hit points, it is considered bloodied. Bloodied transition. The ghost, upon being reduced to or beneath 40 hit points, immediately becomes invisible, moves up to half its speed, and uses Clutterstorm 2 times. Clutterstorm we will get to in a moment. It is the lair action. Boss initiative. The ghost has a second turn in initiative at -10 of its initiative, while it remains above 40 hit points. Ethereal sight. The ghost can see 60 feet into the ethereal plane when it is on the material plane. Incorporeal movement. The ghost can move through other creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain. It takes 5 1d10 force damage if it ends its turn inside an object. Rejuvenation. The ghost reforms near its remains after 1d4 days after it has been reduced to 0 hit points, unless its remains have been salted and burned. This concept came from the show Supernatural, for those that are interested. Salt weakness. Physical weapons coated with salt overcome the ghost's immunity to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. To make this a little bit more exciting and tangible, we wanted to remove the overcoming magic damage with a magic weapon, as that gets kind of old as it's a one-size-fits-all problem. So instead, using salt as the means of overcoming this immunity. Actions. Multi-attack. Ghost makes 1 Withering Touch attack. Withering Touch. Melee attack roll, +5 to hit. Reach, 5 feet. 1 target. Hit, 19, or 3d10 +3 necrotic damage. Horrific Visage. Wisdom saving throw, DC 13. Each creature in a 60-foot cone that can see the ghost and isn't an undead. Failure, 2d6 +3 psychic damage, and the target has the frightened condition until the start of the ghost's next turn. Success, the target is immune to the ghost's horrific visage for 24 hours. Possession. Recharge on a 5 or a 6. Charisma saving throw, DC 13. 1 humanoid the ghost can see within 5 feet. Failure, the target is possessed by the ghost. The ghost disappears, and the target has the incapacitated condition and loses control of its body. The ghost now controls the body, but the target retains awareness. The ghost can't be targeted by any attack, spell, or other effect, except ones that specifically target the undead. The ghost's game statistics are the same, except it uses the possessed target's speed as well as the target's strength, dexterity, and constitution modifiers. When the possessed target takes damage, the ghost makes a concentration save using its charisma instead of constitution. Failure, the ghost is shunted 5 feet into an unoccupied space of its choice. The possession lasts until the ghost loses concentration, it leaves as a bonus action, or the possessed target drops to 0 hit points. Bonus action, Slimed. This is only possible while the ghost is bloodied. The ghost moves up to half its speed through a target, forcing the target to make a DC 13 Constitution saving throw. On a failure, it takes 1d10 lightning damage and 1d10 necrotic damage, and reducing the target's speed by 15 feet. On a success, the target takes only half damage and has no reduction to its speed. Reactions. Invisible Jaunt recharges on a 6. Trigger. On being hit with an attack, its response is the ghost gains the invisible condition until the start of the ghost's next turn, and it moves up to half its speed. Lair actions. When fighting inside its lair, a ghost can take lair actions. On initiative count 20, losing initiative ties, ghost takes a lair action to cause one of the following effects. Clutterstorm. All creatures within the ghost's lair of its choosing must make a DC 13 dexterity saving throw, or take 1d10 bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage on a failed save. The bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage is based on whatever is loose in the ghost's lair that gets thrown around. If the party is going to be having an encounter with a ghost, some allusion to this upcoming encounter might be fun, or some clues coming up that may inform the players of what they might soon face. Finding ectoplasm from where a ghost phased through an object. Objects moved back into locations they were where the ghost still lived in that place, or an item alluding to the ghost's unfinished business. Some recall lore options for a ghost encounter, either before or during. Easy difficulty should be learning that salted weapons and radiant damage are a means of dealing with the ghost in combat. Medium would be its resistances and immunities, and hard would be its rejuvenation feature, along with the way of permanently dealing with the ghost is by salting and burning its remains, or by fulfilling its unfinished business. An item to lure a ghost would be items or people attached to the ghost's unfinished business. Special loot from a ghost. Specific loot or special loot that you might find from a ghost is likely just ectoplasm, as ghosts being incorporeal don't really have any items they can drop, unless you want to have an item that is hidden by them in their past life. Ectoplasm is slightly electrically charged leftover goo. You may use this in potions, maybe a potion of etherealness, or maybe a weapon oil to deal with other incorporeal undead, stuff like that. And that completes the recap of episode 1 of the Monster Mash streams. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please consider checking out the streams every Friday. You can find a link to them down below. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah!